I was 42 years old. I was in the best shape of my life. I'm an Air Force pilot, and I'm a college tennis coach. And if I can have a stroke, anyone can. My first stroke was a wake-up call. I did not know any of the warning signs for a stroke, and I delayed getting to the hospital to get help. My second stroke was 3 weeks later. I had a vertebral artery dissection that caused a clot to go to my brainstem and cut off blood supply and oxygen to critical cells in my brain. And I was essentially paralyzed on my left side from my shoulder down.
Cool. What's a good way to start the day?
Isn't it?
That's
Oh, wow.
excellent. That's exciting.
I was very fortunate to still have most of the major life support functions, such as breathing and heartbeat. But being in the brainstem, it was a tough spot, and lost all the sensation and motor control below my shoulder on my left side, down to my foot. On the second day after the stroke, my neurosurgeon told me that I would be lucky if I got 50% back, and that was tough to hear. But from that moment on, I made it my point to get 100% out of my 50%. I felt very fortunate that I was in a great place where I had access to the equipment that I needed. The first thing they started me on was a hoist treadmill, which allowed basically my brain to be able to remember what the motions of walking were like. It was my therapist that got me started right away. They motivated me from the first day that I was in rehab. And they had the experience and knowledge to get me back on track. They taught me that neuro rehab after brain damage is possible through repetition. And so they got me right on the equipment from really the second day that I was there. And that had me excited. Because of the therapists and the doctors I had, I was excited and motivated to take advantage of every opportunity I had. I've always been an athlete, and it's part of who I am and what my job is. And so once my therapist realized I was ready to move on to the next level of therapy, they encouraged me to try out adaptive sports. And that's really where I was able to take and advance my rehab. Adaptive sports fueled my recovery. I was able to compete and push my body to limits that I did not think were possible at the time. And really the most important thing was the folks that I met along the way. They inspired me whether I was training with them or competing with them. They were the true warriors that I was working with. Something that was very important to me was setting goals all along the way. I set individual daily goals, and I also set long-term goals. One of the long-term goals I set was to play tennis again with my team. And as you can see, I'm doing that today. Another one of my goals was to run again, and I recently received a specially designed orthotic that was initially invented for folks that needed limb salvage, and they custom developed it for me as a stroke patient. I am completely thrilled with my progress to date, and what I'm most excited about is the level of innovation that's going on with stroke rehab. The folks that are working on it need help. We need folks that help design new devices and equipment for folks that have had strokes, because we need to help improve their quality of life.